The JoLynn Braley Show, episode number 277, How Self-Worth Totally Determines Your Weight. Hello, welcome back to the JoLynn Braley Show. This is JoLynn Braley, permanent weight loss coach, weight loss mindset expert. That is my expertise, the mindset, the inner world. Mindset is 92.8% of the challenge if you want to actually succeed with your weight. That means not just losing weight, but keeping it off. And this is the JoLynn Braley Show. This is my totally free weight loss podcast. I started this podcast the first week of January 2013, and here we are in April 2018. This is episode number 277 of the JoLynn Braley Show, and today I'm going to share with you how self-worth totally determines your weight. Yes, totally, self-worth is going to determine your weight. It's going to impact your weight. In fact, total strangers can just look at you and tell how much you value yourself based on how you're taking care of yourself. Now, you know, a lot of people might not like what I'm saying. Maybe you don't like what I'm saying, and maybe you need to exit this podcast now, because even though today's weight loss podcast, this free weight loss podcast here on the JoLynn Braley Show, even though this is not a Get Real episode, you still are not going to like what I'm going to say if you're not willing to look at the way things really are. Okay? And the way things really are is that a person on the street can look at you and make judgments about how you feel about yourself, how you see yourself, what your level of self-worth is based on how you take care of your human form. All right? It's just a basic fact. And it's truth. This is truth, okay? If you don't value yourself enough to spend the time to care for your own vehicle, the most important vehicle that you have here on this planet, and if you place a higher value on other things, other activities, or what many of my coaching clients in the inner self diet struggle with before they start working with me, is they put everybody else first. And it's not that they are last on their list each day. They're not even making the list. And so if you don't even make your own list, meaning that the list that you make, you're not even putting yourself on it, everybody else comes first. And it might not even be family that's coming first. It could be anyone who asks you to do anything for them. You will say yes, and you will drop everything. And if you had even a toenail of a level of commitment to, let's say, cook up healthy meals that day for the coming week, you blow it off because you don't value yourself enough and you don't have enough self-worth to keep your own commitments to yourself. But everybody else is more important, right? So this is a really, really big problem, and it's one of the challenges that my coaching clients do heal and resolve when I work with them personally in the Inner Self Diet. The Inner Self Diet is my proven step-by-step coaching system to struggle-free weight loss in 8 weeks or less, and I have been guiding awesome people through my proven steps. I started doing that in 2009. It works every time. But it only works if you do it. Okay, just listening to me say these words on this totally free weight loss podcast. This is not coaching, and this is not the Inner Self Diet. You have to have two-way communication in order for you to be having real coaching with a qualified professional coach. You've got to have skin in the game, and you've got to be committed. And there's no commitment on a free weight loss podcast. You know what? This reminds me of something. Before I go further into this topic of how self-worth totally determines your weight, before I do that, this reminds me of something that John Assaraf says, which he got from his first mentor, I think when he was 19, if I remember correctly. But anyway, here's how it goes. When you're interested, you'll do what's convenient. And you'll make all kinds of excuses to blow off whatever it is you're interested in because you're just interested. You're not committed. When you're committed, you'll do whatever the hell it takes to achieve the success that you are committed to achieve. And that's it. Bottom line. So, while it's true that willpower to stick with a physical diet, willpower will never last if you don't have the right mindset, which is 92.8% of the challenge. If you don't have your mindset on track, and that's the work I do with my coaching clients in the Inner Self Diet, if you haven't healed the root of your ongoing food and weight struggles, the binge eating, the emotional eating, the mindless eating, the hypnotic eating, whatever it is, right? If you haven't healed the root of that stuff, and if you haven't done the work to get the right mindset, to get a weight loss mindset, then all you can do is use willpower for a short amount of time to try to stick to some diet. And even if it's a wonderful, healthy, awesome diet, you can't stick with it forever because eventually that rubber band can only stretch so far. And you can only use that willpower so long because you don't have the right mindset and your inside is not matching with what you want to create on the outside. All right, that's actually a universal law. The inner and the outer always match. So if on the inside you have very low self-worth, if you're hating yourself, if you're hating your body, if you can't stand who you are because you can't stop eating, if you're 100 pounds overweight or 20 pounds overweight and you're disgusted with your body, you're disgusted with yourself because you can't stick with it, okay? You might have lost weight in the past, but you could never keep it off, all right? Then that's who you are. That's who you are on the inside. Now, understand, that can be changed. If you work with the right coach, you can do it pretty quickly. And when I say do this pretty fast, what I mean is become on the inside the you who would naturally and easily live a healthy lifestyle on the outside. And that means that on the inside, you would have to become the you who has high self-worth. High self-worth. That's a part of it. There's more ingredients that go into this becoming this awesome, fit, fun, healthy, strong, slender, sexy individual on the inside of you, so that it'll be easy for you to release the fat on the outside. There's more components than just self-worth, but self-worth is a big one. Okay? And when you raise your self-worth and you raise your belief in yourself and raise your level of knowing that you deserve to be happy and that you deserve to live in your healthiest body, okay? Nobody can give you a top model's body if you don't have a top model's frame. You might be 5'2". I don't know. Again, I have no idea who you are. For all I know, you could be a Schnauzer puppy. That's a dog breed. You could be a Schnauzer puppy who your owner left on their laptop and they had it on Spotify listening to my podcast back to back. And that's who you are listening, and you're really not listening because you're a dog and you don't care about what I'm talking about. So, but what I'm saying is I have no idea what your personal challenges are. I only know the personal challenges of my awesome coaching clients in the Inner Self Diet because I actually have two-way communication with them and I'm working with them, and it's not difficult for me. It's actually quite easy for me to spot the road bumps and the roadblocks and the blind spots that my clients can't see, and the reason they can't see them is because they live in them. And all of us have blind spots, all right? I have blind spots. That's why I invest in myself to get coaching and training, and I'm constantly working to go to my next level. All right. And I need coaching to do that too. Everybody on the planet has blind spots. The smart people know this and accept it, and they reach out and they get the coaching that they need so that they can go to their next level, and do it as fast as possible. The other people, they keep struggling. They keep their money and they keep their problems. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. So, by the way, I never shared this with you in the beginning. If you want to learn just a little bit more about where I'm coming from, just take a teeny tiny little itty bitty tiny itty bitty 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 baby step. It's totally free. Go over to www.easyfunweightloss.com. easyfunweightloss.com. I have a free download there for you. And in it, you will get 3 simple steps to start making weight loss easier from the inside out. It's really awesome. Is it going to solve all of your food and weight problems that you've been struggling with since you were a kid? No. And I wouldn't think anybody would expect that. But it is going to give you 3 free simple steps that you can take action with if you open the document once you download it. It's a free book. If you open it and download it and read it and go through it and do the steps, then see what you get. See what you get from that. They are not food tips. They are not exercise tips. Heck, you could find that free information at your public library. Did you know that there are public libraries and there are books there? Seriously, there are books and they are free, and all you have to do is get a library card. And I might sound like I'm being sarcastic, but this is true, okay? This is true. There are buildings, and it's called a public library, and usually each city has one, and you go there and you get a library card, and they have a health and fitness section, and there are books there. And don't be dissuaded if some of the books are older. There are some very, very healthy eating plan books out there that you could go get at the library. If that's all you need is you need information on how to eat right, you could get that any place. Okay? But what I found in my own experience, and also what my coaching clients realize, and that's why they come to me and they want me to coach them through the inner self diet, what I found is that all of that exercise and nutrition and diet information, it doesn't mean squat if you don't do anything with it. Okay? And why wouldn't a person do anything with it? Why wouldn't they stick with it? Why would they sabotage themselves? Right? Why would they do that to themselves? Because they don't value themselves. They don't believe in themselves. They don't have high self-worth. They put everyone and everything and anything before themselves because if you could look at their ladder of values, their value of themselves is lower than ground level. It doesn't even reach the ladder. Now, how does this happen? How does this happen? Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of people running around feeling crappy about themselves because why? Why? They're looking at everybody else, thinking that everyone else has it so much better than them, and a lot of them have a victim mentality where they think that they can't do anything about their situation, which is totally false. Every human being on this planet has all of the resources within them to achieve anything that they could ever want to achieve, but you have to be aware of what I just said, and then you have to believe it, and then you have to believe that you deserve to access those resources, and then you have to find out and you got to learn how to access those resources within you. So that's quite a trail, but it can be done. All right? So nobody is a victim. Anyone can achieve anything. There's all kinds of success stories out there that you can read of people who came from nothing and they achieved greatness. Why? Why are they different? They believed in themselves. They believed in themselves, and you got to have a high self-worth to go for it. Okay? Because here's the thing. Here is specifically how this all breaks down, specifically how self-worth totally determines your weight. Because you got to live a healthy lifestyle, not a diet, but a healthy lifestyle. That means it goes on and on and on until you croak out of your body. It's not just like, putting on a new shirt. Oh, now I'm done. No. Where do folks get this crazy idea that they can do a 10-day diet and all of their weight problems are solved? Do you live in a human body? If you live in a human body, that human body requires care and maintenance and attention and time. It requires time and focus and energy and money. That human body requires a lot. And if you think that you are saving money by avoiding your body now, you're going to end up paying. You will pay. You either pay now to fix your problems or you pay later in diseases and all kinds of stuff that you could have avoided. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's very, very interesting how people they take better care of their car, their car, the four-wheeled thing that has the steering wheel, and you can wash it and wax it and vacuum it, and you get oil changes and take it in for transmission work and all these kinds of things, right? Most people pay more attention and put more time and more effort and more money and more energy into maintaining their four-wheeled car, vehicle, SUV, truck, whatever it is. Some are into motorcycles, but they put more attention into that machine than they ever do put that attention into the machine that is their physical human body, the most important vehicle that you will ever have on this planet. Why? Because they don't value it. They don't value it. They don't have a high enough value. They don't have a high enough worth, self-worth, body worth, vehicle, human body worth attached to it. And if you don't have a high enough level of self-worth and value on yourself, on your existence on this planet, and in that a high enough self-worth on that body that you live in, and I'm not just talking, do you understand? I'm not just talking about weight loss here. This is much bigger, and this is why so many are struggling with their weight, because they only look at it as weight loss. They're not healing and addressing the real problems. If you don't place a high enough value on caring for yourself, then you won't spend the time, the money, the effort, and the focus on your human vehicle to address it, to heal it. You're not going to do any of that, right? Are you following me? Is this making sense? Are you getting it? Because the simplest breakdown of this, and I started to share this a minute ago, and I went off in a bigger view there for you, an overlook of this topic. But bottom line, whatever you value the most is what you spend the most time on. So if you're not sure where your values lie in your life, it's not hard to figure it out. You take a pen and paper, and for the next 7 days, you list pen on paper everything you do from the moment that you wake up in the morning until you go to bed at night, and how much time you spend on each activity. All right? And after 7 days, look at what you've written on all those papers, and you'll clearly be able to see what you value the most, because it's whatever you spend the most time on. Okay? To live a healthy lifestyle, it takes time. You've got to schedule in time to move your body, to work out. You've got to schedule in time to plan your meals, to prep your food, to cook your food, to portion out your food. You've got to schedule in time to get your meals ready the night before, so that all you have to do in the morning before you go to work is you take those meals that you've already prepped and planned ahead, and you put them in your little lunch bag, and you take them to work and put them in the lunch refrigerator. Oh, but that's too much time. I can't do that. No, it's not that you can't, it's that you won't. Because you don't value this body that you live in, your body you live in. You don't value it enough. You don't value yourself enough. There is no can't, there's only won't. Oh, I can't spend the time on that. I have to do everything for everyone else. No, it's not that you can't, it's that you won't. You won't. And usually it comes down to fear. Fear of what other people will think, fear of upsetting others, fear. And then another 20 years goes by and you're 100 pounds heavier and even more, feeling more powerless and hopeless. And, a lot of people end up giving up, unfortunately. But you don't have to get to that point. Okay? You always have time for that which you value the most. And if you don't value yourself enough to do whatever it takes to live a healthy lifestyle, and if you don't value yourself enough to do whatever it takes to get the right mindset, that's 92.8% of it, then what do? Well, you have to start where you are. You have to start somewhere. And what works for a lot of people is take a piece of paper and a pen and write on that paper with your pen, where are you going to be 5 years from now if you just keep going as you are right now? Where are you going to be? And you write it all down. Now, see, where most people will make a mistake right now in this podcast is they'll never do this exercise that I'm suggesting. They just listen to the words that I say, and then they forget about it, and then 5 years goes by, and they're hating themselves even more, and they're another 50 pounds heavier, and their habits of binge eating and emotional eating are so much deeper. The grooves in their brain that hold those patterns of the emotional eating and the binge eating, the grooves are so much deeper that it's so much easier for them to just stay in those patterns. If they'd only taken the 5 or 10 minutes now and done this exercise that I just suggested, they could have possibly saved themselves from another 5 years of misery and struggle with this food and weight topic. So, yeah, it's pretty simple. You take a pen and paper and you write down, where am I going to be 5 years from now? How much am I going to weigh? What am I going to look like? How am I going to feel about myself? What is my bank account going to look like? What kind of work am I going to be doing? Where am I going to be living? What are my relationships going to look like if I just keep going as I am now? Keep living the way I am now. Keep thinking the same way. Keep doing the same things. Keep telling myself that tomorrow will be different, or Monday it'll change. Someday my prince will come, and my prince will be in the form of some kind of a magical fix that will suddenly, instantly transform me into this amazing, motivated being that, I'll just really do it then. Someday, 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 someday. Where are you going to be 5 years from now if you keep doing what you're doing now? And then on the flip side, after you do that, another pen and paper exercise is, where could I be 5 years from now if I were to heal the root of these problems today? Well, it won't happen in one day, but if I were to get on the path today and heal the root of my emotional eating, heal the root of my binge eating, raise my self-worth, do the steps to raise my self-worth, to raise my value, my self-value. Become the me who is strong, empowered, fit, confident, high self-esteem, high self-worth, loving myself, self-full. And then if I were to become that person, how much more love would I have to give to everyone else? Because you can't give away what you don't have. Does that make sense? Are you getting this? How can you teach anybody high self-esteem, high self-worth, self-love? How can you teach any of that to anybody if you don't have it for yourself? How can you give that to anybody? How can you teach by example? If you have children, how can you be a model of high self-esteem and a model of somebody who loves themselves enough to care for their own mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being? You can't teach by example if you're not doing it for yourself. Does this make sense? Are you getting it? So again, this exercise, the second one, is, where could I be 5 years from now if I were to heal the root of this stuff now and move myself into the life, into the beingness, into actually, it's not just thinking about this shit. Not thinking about it and dreaming about it, but actually being it. Living it as my lifestyle. Where will I be? Where could I be 5 years from now if I were to make a big, bold transformation now? Okay, so 5 years from now, what would I weigh? What would I look like? How would I feel about myself? Where would I be living? What would my relationships look like? What kind of work would I be doing? What will my bank account look like? You know, your bank account cannot soar beyond your level of self-worth. It cannot. It's impossible. It is impossible. So many people think that they have a weight problem. It's not a weight problem. It's a mindset problem. It's a life problem. And the reason that it's a life problem is because you take your mind with you everywhere you go. So your problems, your low self-worth, it's not just impacting your body weight, it impacts everything. Everything. Because you can't just shut it off in this one area. Now, you could say, yeah, but JoLynn, I'm doing great in my work life and my career. I'm really rocking it there. You know, that's one area of my life that I've really got it going and got it going on. And I say, that's awesome. That's just like my coaching clients. You know, my coaching clients are super smart and intelligent and they're successful professionally, but they've never succeeded with this food and weight thing. But you could say, well, how is it that I could do that if my level of self-worth is so low? Well, is it possible that you might see your career as a higher value and something outside of your self sphere, and therefore you place a higher value on your career also because you see it as doing for others, doing for your employer, also doing for a paycheck, but that's really about survival. So does it make any sense at all that you could have, and you do have, you have the experience of rocking it in your professional life, but when it comes to the rest of things, it's not working. And your value on your work and on doing for others, because, you know, connected to your work, is high enough that that's how you've been able to succeed there. Does that make sense at all? So that's how my coaching clients are. They are doing great professionally, very smart people. But this food and weight challenge is not about intelligence. That's why you haven't been able to analyze your way out of it and just use your intelligent mind to get out of it. Does this make sense? Are you getting it? Mindset is 92.8% of the challenge. Get that solved. Get your mind in the right place, and living a healthy lifestyle will be the easiest thing to do ever, because it will just be who you are. Once you get the right mindset, that is key, and that involves healing the inner self. It is time for a commercial break here on the JoLynn Braley Show. This week's sponsor of the JoLynn Braley Show is my free tips, my free book, which you can download now at www.easyfunweightloss.com, www.easyfunweightloss.com. Head on over there, get my free download. In it, you will get 3 simple steps to start making weight loss easier from the inside out. They are not food or exercise tips. All right? These are tips for you if you're struggling with binge eating, emotional eating, any of those kinds of struggles, yo-yo dieting. You can get that now at www.easyfunweightloss.com. It is 100% free to grab that now. All right, a couple questions to ask yourself on each episode of the JoLynn Braley Show. I give you questions to ask yourself. grab pen and paper. Okay, if you did those other 2 exercises that I already gave you, those bonus exercises, then you have pen and paper. And I highly recommend that you write each of these questions down pen on paper, then write your answer down pen on paper. Why? Because there's a connection that occurs between the head, the hand, and the heart, and you only get that connection when you write pen on paper. You do not get that connection if you only listen to me talk on and on and on. And you don't get that connection if you type on a keyboard either, just by writing pen on paper. Okay, so first question. What do I value the most? What do I value the most? All right, now whatever you value the most is what you spend the most time on. Whatever you spend the most time on is what you value the most. And maybe you're not able to answer this question until you do the 7-day exercise that I gave you previously on this podcast. You can rewind and listen back to that again. I highly recommend that you do that exercise. Number 2 question. What is my biggest fear of raising my self-worth? What's my biggest fear of raising my self-worth? Because see, if you were to raise your self-worth, that means that you would be spending time on caring for your body, on doing all the healthy lifestyle activities that you've got to do in order to live a healthy lifestyle. And so then what would you be afraid of? Who's going to be mad? Because they're used to you doing whatever they want you to do and putting yourself not even on your list. You're not last on your list. You're not even on the list. Number 3 question. How easy would it be for me to live a healthy lifestyle, to release the fat, to keep it off, if I really could become, on the inside, the me who believes in myself, who has high self-worth, high self-esteem, high self-confidence? If I could just get to this place where I would feel great about myself, no guilt about taking care of myself, recognizing it as being self-full. How easy would it be for me to live a healthy lifestyle if it was just who I were to become? Then there wouldn't be any struggle. There wouldn't be any fight because it would just be who you are. Number 4 question, who's my coach? Who's my coach helping me put all of this stuff together? Helping me start in a place that I don't even know where to start. Who's my coach that already has the proven system put together and all I have to do is paint by number, just follow step by step by step? Who's my coach in my corner, believing in me, helping me, coaching me, helping me move forward? And by the way, coaching doesn't mean that anybody can force you to do anything. That's not coaching. That's like, I don't know, what is that? Doesn't make any sense. It's not even, there's no coach, there's no professional coach that is going to do the work for you, step into your own head and change everything and come to your house and cook your meals and make sure that you're doing everything you're supposed to do. That's called a personal assistant. There we go. There is a name for that. That's a personal assistant. If you want to hire a personal assistant or a personal chef who will do all of the activities for you, even then, though, they cannot get into your own head and change your mindset. They can't do that for you. Okay, a personal chef could cook your meals. A personal assistant could do whatever you want them to do. A maid, a housekeeper could clean up your house. A professional organizer could organize your house. But when I talk about who's your coach in your corner, I'm talking specifically about the inner self healing, the mindset work. And there is nobody that can step into your head and shift things around for you. And would you want that? I mean, I would certainly hope that nobody would want that, because that means that they'd basically be, what, a vegetable or something? So the coaching that I do with my coaching clients, it's about giving them the tools for them to empower themselves, right? You have to learn how to change your own thoughts and empower yourself in your daily, day-to-day life where you're living your life each day. That's where the transformation occurs. And I can only give my clients all of the tools and all of the steps and all of the transformational teachings and give them the coaching, the personal coaching, personal feedback for their personal problems. And then they get to plug into that and do the steps and take action, which is how it should be. Otherwise, how would you ever empower yourself? Does that make sense? Are you getting this? Okay, so last question. If you don't have a coach, then ask yourself, why? Why don't I have a coach? And specifically, how is my self-worth stopping me from getting the coaching that I need to raise my self-worth? That's a sticky situation, isn't it? So again, the question is, how specifically is my current level of self-worth stopping me from getting the coaching that I need so that I can raise my self-worth? All right? And then here's one last question. Now remember, you're writing each of these questions down and then write your answer down to each question. And all of these questions you're asking yourself. And just rewind the podcast if you didn't get them all. And of course, pause in between each question to give yourself time, you know? Last question, what am I doing about it? What am I doing about it? So what specifically are you doing about the previous answer of anything that you listed that's stopping you from getting the coaching you need to raise your self-worth? What are you doing about it? What are you doing about it? Only you can do something about it. Only you can do something about it. And that's how it should be. If you're serious about becoming fully empowered and raising your self-worth and raising your self-esteem, and if you're totally serious about achieving permanent weight loss, you're the only one who can step in for yourself and get that coaching you need. Reach out to heal this stuff, to heal the root of your food and weight struggles once and for all. By the way, if you are serious about ending your food and weight struggles once and for all, healing the root of your emotional eating, healing the root of your binge eating, raising your self-worth, becoming successful in this area of your life where success has eluded you, even though you're super smart and super successful professionally, this other area of your life, this food and weight topic, you've continued to struggle and you don't want to struggle anymore. If you want to achieve success in this area of your life as fast as possible and you want help doing it, then what I invite you to do is to apply for a complimentary weight loss discovery session. And the place to do that is over at discovery-session.com, discovery-session.com, and that's where you start. And you do have to complete an application because that is an application for a complimentary one-on-one weight loss discovery session with me on the phone. And I can only do a limited number of those. They are complimentary, so you have to fill out an application for that. And you can start with that at discovery-session.com. Please keep in mind that this is a limited time offer. If you are listening to this podcast in the future, I cannot guarantee that this offer is still available. However, you can go over to www.discovery-session.com, and even when this offer to speak with me one-on-one, no charge, to find out if it would be a good fit for me to coach you personally in the Inner Self Diet, even if this offer has expired, there will be something else there of value that you can opt in for. But it won't be this opportunity for a free weight loss discovery session with me and the possibility of ending your food and weight struggles in 8 weeks or less working with me personally. So I'm just letting you know, giving you a heads up, this is a limited time offer. And once again, you can start with that at www.discovery-session.com. Next week's episode of the JoLynn Braley Show is going to be a Get Real episode. So you're not going to want to tune into that if you aren't willing to get real with yourself. But do keep in mind that if you're ever going to achieve permanent weight loss, you're going to have to start by getting real with yourself. Because as long as you continue to lie to yourself and delude yourself and stay in denial and continue to live in avoidance, then you can't achieve permanent weight loss from that place. So if you are willing to be honest with yourself and get real with yourself, tune in for next week's episode of the JoLynn Braley Show. I am JoLynn Braley, permanent weight loss coach, founder of the kick-ass amazing Inner Self diet, the diet that actually works. If you work it, of course, you got to do the steps, and that's work with me personally, where I personally guide my awesome coaching clients through my proven steps, which lead to struggle-free weight loss in 8 weeks or less. I wish you your best life, living inside of your ideal body. Yay!